when you have an international community involved and more than one country involved, there is a little bit more of ease of flow of information and documents and evidence and so on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our time. There are two footnotes I want to drop very quickly. The one is that there were two amendments passed in, I don't have the date here, I have an unofficial translation, but the one goes to who can be prosecuted and the other goes to who can be appointed judges. That seems to confirm that this is not a military tribunal.
Not what?
Not a military tribunal. However, as lawyers know, it's quite easy to say it will not be a military tribunal. It will be, etc., etc., etc. Why not make it plain? That's point number one, footnote number one. Footnote number two is this. The Bangladeshi Constitution, Article 47.3, to my knowledge, still says that this Act of 1973 is protected constitutionally, which means that the Supreme Court of Bangladesh cannot decide that any part of it is unconstitutional, which means to me there's a problem with respect to international human rights, which relates in the Covenant on International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and relates in the American Convention and in the European Convention in setting out fairness for defendants, irrespective of how bad they are, simply on the basis that they're human beings. They're entitled to certain things, which means that if the Supreme Court decides that certain things are unfair as a result of this, leads into problems. So I've raised that as a question for the diaspora to raise with the government of Bangladesh in making this as fair it can be. With that, I want to turn it over to our guest, Mr. Hoque, and say, please have the last word.
Not the last word, actually, the debate will continue. But I think the 1973 Act is a milestone in a sense that, as all of you have explained, that this is the act which has happened in the vacuum after the 1948 Genocide Convention and the ICTTR or ICTTY or the International Criminal Court. And the definitions were actually improvement from the Genocide Convention definitions, like the rape, which was not recognized in the Nuremberg.
Crimes against humanity.
Yeah, crimes against humanity.
So.
Yeah, and the definition of genocide is more or less the same that was in Genocide Convention, also in the ICC. But in case of Bangladesh, the political group, that is one addition, which actually that evolved from the reality of the situation in Bangladesh, because every genocide has its own characteristics. And I think that's a reflection of what happened really in 1971. From the legal point of view, we can argue whether that is proper or improper, but I think that's how it came into the Act. And about the hybrid code, the experience of Cambodia is not very a happy one. It's lingering, it's a long drawn process, and it's also very expensive in terms of the translation into all official languages of the UN and other things. And also this is a domestic law, actually. And it has been protected by the Constitution because it has conflict with the fundamental constitutional rights in a sense that it is a crime against humanity, crime of genocide, crime against peace, which is a different kind of crimes, and the Constitution deals with the criminal and other kind of rights. So that's why it was protected by the Constitution. But I think what we have now that after 38 years, the nation has come to a point when it can address the issue of justice. And that's very important. And now we have also the option of tribunal rules, which are very important, and where the rules we can incorporate all the developments and the new thinking and also the procedural methodology that has been evolved in different trials. And in one way, about the major criminals, the Pakistani offenders, the situation in Bangladesh is more or less like the East Timor situation. The perpetrators belong to another country, and they were not under the domestic law, and East Timor has no way to deal with the real perpetrators. But in the East Timor, the trial and the commission all deal with the local population. And I think for the international community also, it's a very challenging reality that you have to observe the norms, but you also have to look into the real situation and the particularity of the 1971 crimes, which is a major crimes in the 20th century, and it's the duty of the international community also, not only Bangladesh, to address the issue of justice and truth.
You know, the official language of the statute is in Bangladeshi. It's not in. So, you know.
Might be the translation.
Yeah, with such a.
Might just be a scrub.
Yeah, I would.
But the political's not.
No, that
Thank you again. Thank you very much. And I'd like to applaud you.
After a day of intense learning about one of the worst genocides in the name of history, it is unfortunately that time of the day to end the seminar. We hope that through our presentations and personal experiences, you are more aware of the causes and implications of genocide and how it destabilizes humanity and its civilization. We also hope that we were able to achieve our goal of the symposium by addressing claims of war, crimes, genocide, and crimes against humanity. With that being said, we would like to thank all of our volunteers and the university staff who took the time to help us on a Sunday. Not only a Sunday, but a rainy one. We certainly could not have done it without your sincere commitment. Last but not least, thank you all for coming, supporting, and making our seminar a successful one. Have a good evening and a safe journey home.
Just to add another note to it, our website will be is already updated with all the presentations and papers that has been used in today's conference. Please go and check the website. It's www.kean.edu/bgsg, and we're going to be updating the website with much more findings that we got from this conference. So please keep checking the website, and we're going to be publishing new information there pretty soon. Thank you very much for attending today's conference. Thank you.